Good morning, good morning, good morning, and happy, happy, happy week 2. I'm currently, let me make sure, okay, that I have everything covered. Currently in week 2, because of the holiday, it's a shorter week, so I'm just coming to Skills Lab on Tuesday, and then Thursday and Friday, and I have my classes on Wednesday. So I'm here, and I'm a little early, so I figured I'd show you around just a tinge. So these are the machines and the beds that we use on this side. We share the lab with the vascular students, so usually their machines are on that side, and that just means that they are set up to do vascular scans, where these are set up to do echo scans. And so I spend a good portion of my school time here, and the lights are down because the lights are usually down when you do an echo procedure anyway. But I am here 4 hours a day, 4 days a week, and largely just practicing. We're just all practicing on each other, going through the various angles that we need to do. So the first week we did parasternal long access, right ventricular outflow, right ventricular inflow, and this week we're working on the parasternal short access, and that has 4 different views. So let's get ready to roll. So I'm going to IT because I need something for one of my classes, and it's not letting me log in, so I'm going to find them so that they can help me. But so far this morning, Skills Lab has been pretty good. The only angle I'm not able to get is the aortic one. It's kind of funny, but 3 out of the 4 views is working good. Oh, I should have took like a little clip, but I can take one on Thursday so I can insert them so you can see what it is that I'm talking about. All right, my aortic valve, parasternal short access. I'm just trying to remember the parts. So left atrium, right atrium, aortic valve, the cusp, interventricular septum, right ventricular outflow. Another day, another class. Day 2 in class, 4 of the week. Only 4 days this week, I was saying. So on Wednesdays, I'm usually here, excuse me, from 9 to 3. And I'm in class from 9 to 11 or 12. Then I have lunch from 12 to 1. Nope, I think it's 9 to 11. Then lunch from 11 to 12. Then class again from 12 to 3. And that is for my physics class and also my ultrasound and instrumentation class. So I'm here bright and early. If I sound weird, that's because I'm fairly certain that I have a cold of some sort. I could not peel myself out of bed this morning, so I didn't make myself anything for breakfast, which is the worst because that means I end up at this lovely vending machine. But I did make some tea with lemon, and I do have my lunch packed for today, so I'll show you that when it's time for me to eat lunch. But for right now, I'm just gonna get me some chips and have some tea for breakfast, which isn't the best, but that's what we're doing. This combination probably is not going to be all that great, but honestly, I always get the same thing from the vending machines, either this party mix or this Cheeto stuff here. It is finally lunchtime. But I mentioned this in one of my videos from last semester. This is my main ultrasound physics book, and I will link the video to that, but I'm gonna make a new video of the different books that I have for this semester, which are all different with the exception of this one. Lunch. Oh, well, my lunch is in the microwave, but always bring a Pepsi, a bubbly water, an orange, a Kit Kat, 2 Dum-Dums, a fork. And then in here, I'll show you in a second. Chicken, rice, and corn. We have lots of skills labs in our school, which are just pretty much labs that kind of look like hospital rooms, or we can practice certain things. And so I'm always coming across a new one, and this is one I hadn't seen before. I cannot remember the name of this particular machine, but we have this one. And then there's also a newer one, this one here. And I finally used the newer one this week, and it's different than the older one in terms of buttons. But anyway, this is what the ultrasound machine looks like up close and personal. This is the transducer that we use in echo. In vascular, they use many others. In DMS, where you do babies and other things, you use others. But this is it. And it's always dim in here because usually it's easier to see that way. But there's a lot of different buttons, the freeze button, the trackball, depth, all the things. All right, so it's my M lab here. Okay.
It seems like every time I took off, I just
Okay. Go up. I didn't do anything. All right, so I want to do my week 2 recap right now with all of you and let you know like what I'm thinking, how I'm feeling, that type of thing. Week 2 actually was pretty good in terms of skill lab. We started to learn and let me adjust my lighting. We started to learn the parasternal short axis, and so there's 3 routes to that. So there's a short axis that looks kind of like a snail, and I'll post a picture so this makes more sense. And then there is the other three of the mitral valve, like 3 different views. So just mitral valve at its level, mitral valve but with the papillary muscles, and then the apex of it. So that was pretty good. And up until now, since it's only week 2, I feel far more comfortable with the parasternal short axes than I feel of the long axis. And so that's pretty much where I am with that. This week in physics, we did a whole lot of math, and I was not thrilled. And if you hear the people outside, it's because they're standing in the hallway outside of their skills lab, kind of just chatting it up. So hopefully it's not too loud. Hopefully I'm talking long enough for you to be able, like loud enough for you to be able to hear it. Yeah, we did a lot of math and physics this week in ultrasound physics. A lot of like complementary measurements kind of thing. And if you know me, then you know math is not my strong suit. I do not like math at all. So I was not thrilled, and I was very happy to be done with the math for this particular week. In my actual echo class that's outside of this particular skills lab, we were studying the cardiac cycle and the Wiggers diagram. And the Wiggers diagram is going to be something that you know like the back of your hand. And that's something that I'm definitely still trying to study. And it just shows the different things that are happening in the heart at different times in terms of like diastole and systole. And so this is all for the people that are potentially wanting to study and things like that, but I'll show you a picture so you can see. And also, my teacher made out these posters so that it could show the various checklists that we need, because in skills lab, we have to do a certain amount of checkoffs. There's 5 of them, and then a full like CPE. And so what we're getting ready for, which I will mention or have mentioned, is to do a full transthoracic echocardiograph. And so we're kind of doing the building blocks in skills lab. So each week we build on a skill and we add a new skill to our list. And before we can get out of skills lab, we have to be able to show that we know how to do and perform these things on people before we could go to clinical. So feels like time is flying, but let me show you these posters, and then we will chat next week. So week 1, we did the parasternal long axis. And so these are the things that we would need to know in order to do a full TTE. So most of these things we know, with the exception of the measurements. Like we haven't learned how to do any measurements yet, but like increasing the depth, zooming, 2D views. We learned M mode as well, and how to do things with color, as well as on the tricuspid valve. So there's still more building blocks to it. So we learned the basics, but in a later week, I think she said week 6, we'll learn the measurements. And then week 2 was this parasternal short axis. And these are the different things that we needed to learn. And we learned all of these things because there isn't any like particular measurements in it. And I do feel pretty good about this one. That's the one I was talking about. And so it's odd this semester because on one hand, I feel a lot less pressure than I did last semester in terms of like assignments that I had to do. I had a crap ton of assignments and a crap ton of writing, and it was insanely ridiculous. And this particular semester, I don't. So the pressure is different. That's what I'll say. The pressure is different. The pressure is, oh my gosh, I got to make sure that I know how to actually perform these